Hello, YouTube viewers, all website viewers. My name is Robert Walker. I am the author of Remember the Rainbow, an instinctive sense for grasping the nature of things. Now, the book is about me having to experience strange events for many, many, many years, and one day I decided to think about those events, to recall those events, to look back on those events, to examine them in great detail, to examine them to determine what their causes were. Now I'll give you some examples here. And one of the events I recall about the age of about 6 months, where I had an opportunity to look up and notice on my mother's dresser drawer a book. And of course, at 6 months, you don't know what it is, but the cover was appealing to me. By the time I got to be about 2 years old, I remember seeing my mother read the book and wanting a desire to know what she was doing when she was reading it. Fast forward years into the future, some 40-something years later, I happened to come across the same book. Now, that may not seem like it's out of the ordinary. But what made it out of the ordinary was when I was about 5 to 6 years old, and I happened to be playing in the basement, and I was in a set of tires, and I reached into one of the tires and I pulled out that book. And how I got in the tires, I don't know. Well, actually, I do it the day before I had put it in the tires. I was playing and found the book. How to get in the basement, I didn't know. But I pull that book out of the tires, and in the course of pulling out of the tires, that back cover tore. And I distinctively remember how it tore. And I remember feeling nervous from having tore my mother's book. I didn't know whether or not she was going to be upset with me or not, but I was quite nervous about it. And so I took that book and I put that book up in the pantry right behind me, and I put it way back in the back in hopes that my mother wouldn't find that book. Fast forward 40 years later, I saw the book again. The exact same book. There were markings in the book that I recall, pencil markings, and the way that it was tore on the cover gave me an indication it was the same book. The book had not aged. This is 40 years into the future, and the book had not aged from the time that I was 5 to 6 years old. Now I'm 46 years old, 45 years old, and the book has not aged. But it gets even more bizarre. There were 17 other books from the time that I was about 6 months up until the time that I was about 17 years old. 17 other books that I had came in contact with. They came to me in chronological order. The exact same 17 books that I had became in contact with as I was growing older. So, for example, when I was about, let's say I might have been like 7 or 8 years old, I go to the library, I see a book, pull it off the shelf, sit down to try to read the book, or may be interested in it, may not be interested in it, and I'll take the book and put the book back on the shelf. That book comes back to me. Now, I'll give you the circumstances of how it come back to me. It come back to me when I was, well, I don't know if I wanted to get into that discussion about how that part, but anyway, the book come back to me. If you want to know more about this story, read my book called Remember the Rainbow. And this will give you a little bit more about it. Another incident involved me walking down the street, feeling very, very depressed. And suddenly I sort of hear a voice. And the voice says to me, "Why are you so upset?" And of course I paid no attention to the voice. Now this is an inner voice, so it's me speaking. We all have these kind of voices that are inner voices. But then I felt the presence of something outside of my physical body, as if it was staring at me. And I turned to the right to see if there was anything there. Now I'm walking down the street, 2 o'clock in the morning or so, and I'm having this feeling. And then all of a sudden, it tells me that it's going to rain. This present does, but it's speaking through me, and I'm trying to understand this. It's like that the voice that's deep within you tells you, well, you better not do that, and you do it anyway. You say like, well, I knew I shouldn't have done that. That's the kind of voice that I heard tell me that it's going to rain. And this voice said to me that when it rains, it's going to rain, and it's going to rain all around you, referring to me, and I would not get wet. And I said to the voice, yeah, right. Well, anyway, I kept walking. Sure enough, it started raining, and I stood still because I was shocked by the nature that it was starting to rain. I looked in the sky, the night sky, I could see stars. So I kind of wondered, where did this rain come from? If I could see stars so clearly, unless I was looking through clouds, I was kind of wondering where the stars come from. By any means, it started raining. And it rained all around me. I'm saying to you that this rain came down extremely hard. And in a circle, a good radius of about 45 feet, maybe more, maybe 100 feet. I'm in the center, a radius around me, about a circumference that is, a circumference around me, about 100 feet maybe. No rain. Sidewalk still dry. I'm not getting a drop of water on me at all. Surprisingly, not even a drop hit my glasses, which is very unusual when I'm walking in the rain or when it's raining. In this case, I wasn't walking in the rain. I'm just standing there, but it's raining all over me. Again, if you want to know more about this story, get my book, Remember the Rainbow by Robert Walker. Now, I have a book here that's before me called Psychic Yellow Pages. And Psychic Yellow Pages happens to be a book that was not part of the 17 books that I mentioned to you, but it was a book that come to me from the future, given to me in the past. So the date that it was copywritten I had received it many years before that. And this has happened to me on a number of occasions. Occasionally I'll get a book before it's even in print. This was the case. Sometimes I don't talk about these things. I'm just happen to be wanting to talk about them now because, quite frankly, I need the sales on the book, on my book called Remember the Rainbow. Anyway, in this particular book, in the glossary, it gives a different definitions to different kinds of words. One of the words is called astral projection. And astral projection, it talks about, my eyesight is getting very, very weak here. It's out-of-body experience. And you could probably, for those of you who already studied paranormal activities, know what out-of-body experiences is. And then there's clairvoyance. It's the ability to see, hear, and smell beyond the ordinary five senses. Okay, I'm just going to pick a few. Another one is Déjà vu. Literally meaning already seen. Sudden impression that many people feel and have, having been around a place before, or at least feeling that they've been around a place before, or having heard or having seen or having done something before. And that's what déjà vu is. And I think all of this kind of falls under this one here, ESP, extrasensory perception. I'm going to tell you something. All of psychic abilities are directly related to time travel. Time travel is a natural occurrence. And this is what I have come to discover. This is the conclusion of all my experiences. This is what I've come to remember, that I have time traveled. I had experienced many strange things that have occurred throughout my entire life. And ultimately, they all come down to having time travel. We are naturally time travelers, and we time travel through our dreams. Yes, we do time travel through our dreams. Get the book, Remember the Rainbow. Read it. I'm not a professional writer. I wrote this book as best I can to try to explain to others that we are natural time travelers. And if you can recall your dreams, if you can recall some of the events that occurred in your life, some of the strange events, you will and you can recall having time travel. So please, if you get a chance, get my book called Remember the Rainbow by Robert Walker, currently on sale at Amazon.com. You can do a Google search, Remember the Rainbow by Robert Walker. Purchase the book. The book is only $9.99. Gives you an idea of how I discovered, the means by which that I've went through to make that discovery. And if you read it, I think that you can be able to connect, and you will be able to make the discovery that you have already time traveled to. And this is an awakening. This is something that we all can learn from. We can all learn more about ourselves and how we socialize with each other. There's so much more to this than what I'm telling in the video right now. There's so much more. But right now, the only thing that I can do is just try to get you the encouragement to read the book. Because if you read the book, then I'm able to express, I'm able to talk more, I'm able to answer your questions. This is an opportunity for you to speak directly with me with respects to this book. So, thank you.